Developing right now on Morning News Now, an historic indictment decades in the making. This morning, former Cuban President Raúl Castro facing criminal charges here in the U.S. The 94-year-old who led Cuba's communist regime for more than 10 years, indicted by the Justice Department for murder, conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, and destruction of aircraft. Prosecutors say Castro ordered the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian planes that killed 4 Cuban Americans in a humanitarian group working to help Cuban migrants flee to freedom.
It is a good day for America, and it's a good day for Cuba. Every one of us up here have been fighting for independence and freedom and opportunity for all the people in Cuba for a long time.
We want to see justice done, and justice will be done. And if they don't believe us, go ask the former head of Venezuela.
We'll have the latest on the charges, the reaction, and what happens next. Also developing fueling fears this morning, oil prices edging higher again as uncertainty grows over talks to end the war with Iran and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. What you need to know ahead of a busy Memorial Day weekend. And a new round of springtime storms leaving parts of New York City flooded, while in California, firefighters struggling with flare-ups as wildfires burn dangerously close to homes. Plus, we're tracking a double-digit cool down after days of record heat. Andrew's here with your forecast. And it's a call to action that could help save lives. Doctors pushing for more patients to take part in clinical trials. Now, actor Rob Lowe adding some star power to that plea. More on his new partnership with a pharmaceutical giant for a cause he says hits close to home. Good morning. Thank you so much for starting off your Thursday with us, almost to the end of the week. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe's off today. We're going to begin this morning with that historic indictment against former Cuban President Raúl Castro. The Justice Department announced yesterday that the 94-year-old is being charged in connection with the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian planes that killed 4 Cuban exiles. Raúl is the brother of the late revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. 5 others who were Cuban fighter pilots involved in the downing of the planes were also indicted. Raúl Castro was Cuba's defense minister at the time down. Announcing the charges in Miami, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche put the indictment into perspective.
For the first time in nearly 70 years, senior leadership of the Cuban regime has been charged in this country, in the United States of America, for acts of violence resulting in the deaths of American citizens. If you kill Americans, we will pursue you, no matter who you are.
We'll have legal analysis on the indictment straight ahead, but let's begin this hour with NBC News correspondent Alice Barr joining us now from Washington with the very latest. Alice, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. This indictment is 30 years in the making, especially for the families who've held out hope for justice. But it leaves open major questions about what's next for Raúl Castro and for Cuba.
That he will show up here.
In a long-awaited step toward accountability, the Justice Department indicting former Cuban President Raúl Castro in the 1996 shoot-down of 2 civilian planes that killed 4 Cuban Americans, including Miriam de la Peña's son.
My son was a law-abiding American who loved freedom.
The news, deeply personal to some, celebrated by Cuban Americans in Miami, where Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche made the announcement.
The United States and President Trump does not and will not forget its citizens.
An American grand jury indicting Raúl, now 94, and the younger brother of Fidel Castro for conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, destroying American civilian aircraft, and premeditated murder. Prosecutors say he ordered Cuban fighter pilots who were also indicted to shoot down the planes from the Cuban-American exile group Brothers to the Rescue that helped others trying to flee to freedom. Cuba says the planes violated its airspace. The U.S. says they were humanitarians over international waters.
Our son is not coming back. It could be 50 years, and the criminal is still there. He needs to be put in jail.
Castro is still powerful in Cuba's communist government that called the new indictment lies. NBC's Tom Llamas asked whether he will stand trial in the U.S.
There's a lot of ways that we can get them, and I certainly hope that any defendant that's indicted in this country stands trial.
The Trump administration has been raising the pressure on Cuba's regime, but President Trump now says
there won't be escalation. I don't think there needs to be.
As families wait for what's next.
Given how unlikely it is that Cuba would voluntarily extradite Raúl Castro, this moment is particularly drawing comparisons to the U.S. military operation to arrest Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro. Blanche said that the DOJ does expect Castro to show up either by his own will or by another way, though you heard President Trump attempting to downplay the risk of escalation. Savannah.
And Alice, put in perspective for us the legacy, the lasting impact of that 1996 incident on U.S.-Cuba relations.
It certainly hardened them. You know, around that time, just in 1994, a couple years before, Cuba and the U.S. had signed an immigration agreement. There were a lot of questions about whether Cuban migrants should be allowed into the United States and efforts to sort that out. But this incident certainly drew a line and has been pretty hardened ever since then. There were some efforts during the Obama administration to perhaps thaw things out, but we have heard a real ramping up of more aggressive kind of rhetoric under the Trump administration, which is leaving open questions, of course, about what comes next.
All right, Alice, thank you so much. Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris now for more on this indictment. Misty, good morning. Great to see you. So Raúl Castro, we mentioned this. He's being charged with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, murder and destruction of aircraft. We know 5 other people also indicted in this case involved with the downing of that plane. So what exactly is this indictment alleging? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so first you have the murder charges, and the murder relates to the 4 individuals who lost their life during this incident. Then you have the destruction of the aircraft, which really speaks for itself that those aircrafts were destroyed in furtherance of committing that crime. Now, the conspiracy to commit murder, this is the one that is a bit more interesting, because what conspiracy means is that these individuals, these defendants, agreed to commit a crime. They agreed to shoot down these planes, and that they all took an overt act towards doing that. So we know the planes went down, right? So for those who were involved in flying the planes, directly involved in the operation, that's a simple leap. But for Castro, this is where the legal argument gets a little bit thornier, because the indictment relies on Castro's position as the head of the military to connect him to the crime. So Savannah, when it comes to a conspiracy, you can be held equally as culpable for a murder, whether or not you're the one flying the plane or the one planning and executing it by giving the authority to move forward. So that's where the argument with Castro comes into play on that conspiracy to connect him to what they call premeditated murders.
So, Misty, yesterday when Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announced this indictment, he said he expects Castro to appear in the U.S. to be prosecuted. He said it will either be by his own will or by another way. Some people may be sort of relating this. It may be reminding them of what we saw happen to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who's currently being held here in the U.S. awaiting trial. How do you see this playing out for Castro? How likely is it that he faces those charges here?
I think that's the million-dollar question, because what we have here is an active and open warrant for Castro's arrest that came with that indictment yesterday, which means that he is somebody who the United States can bring into custody. I think it's very unlikely that he comes of his own will. So what does that mean, Savannah? Well, that means it's the other way that Todd Blanche alluded to. He said this is not a show indictment, that we want to bring him to justice to face a jury in the United States. But unless Cuba, which there is no extradition with Cuba, this is not a friendly relationship where they're turning people over to the United States. Without that, then the only other option would be something similar to Maduro, by force, a military operation to bring him, which is not a concept unheard of. It's called extraterritoriality. There's open warrants in the United States. Bringing people from other countries in to be arrested is not uncommon. However, it's complicated, obviously, in this situation, and as we saw with Maduro. So will we see a similar military operation? It remains to be seen.
Misty, as a lawyer, are you allowed to raise in court? Is it a good idea to raise in court that your client was essentially dragged into this country?
Well, I think there's going to be a couple of arguments. If if in fact Castro is brought into court, a lot of them will mirror what we've seen with Maduro. First, you're going to see head of state immunity, because at this time, what Cuba has always said is that this was a legitimate defensive action. So that would be one aspect that, because of Castro's position at the time, he's protected. The other would be, Savannah, due process, right? So he's brought in from another country. They would challenge due process, I think, at a couple of grounds. The means by which he was brought into the country, if it is in fact force, and also that so much time has passed. The statute of limitations is wide open. There is no statute of limitations on murder. But another due process argument is that so much time has passed that there is prejudice to that defendant. So all of those would be arguments that would be raised. But of course, those would be questions that would ultimately be decided by a judge, or ultimately, if this case goes to a jury. But the United States has maintained that this was a murder, that this happened in international airspace, as opposed to what Cuba has said is a legitimate defensive operation.
Misty, any chance you think additional charges are filed?
It's always possible, although this is a 30-year-old case, right? So this indictment, which Todd Blanche at one point during the press conference said that evidence was in the right position, in the right place to move forward with the indictment, because as we know, Savannah, this is a long time coming. We saw in that press conference so many people who've been waiting for this day for so long, but the likelihood of new evidence coming to light would seem to be very slim. However, Todd Blanche alluded to evidence that made it the right time to bring this case, and would not really comment on what evidence was reviewed by the grand jury, which isn't uncommon at all. As we know, grand jury proceedings are secret. So is there a possibility? Well, there certainly could be, but I would say it's unlikely, because of the age of this case, that anything new regarding potential criminal culpability could come to light. I think what you're going to see is a lot of this case, if we get to a trial, is going to be built on the extensive investigations that took place at the time and the years after, much of which was classified information that has now been reviewed and re-reviewed by those in the DOJ to bring forward this indictment.
All right, Misty Maris helping us unpack a big one. Thank you so much, Misty. Well, fallout continues this morning over the Department of Justice's anti-weaponization fund. The nearly $1.8 billion fund of taxpayer money was designed to provide payments to Americans the president describes as victims of government weaponization by the Biden administration, including January 6th rioters. It stems from the settlement of President Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS over his leaked tax returns. Well, now there's a growing bipartisan effort on Capitol Hill to stop the fund that's raising legal questions and sparking widespread opposition, as several members of the president's own party share their doubts about the fund.
And I don't support it. I think you can't do that.
I have almost zero confidence in the DOJ right now. And so let's go back and try and regain some of that confidence before we talk about any money.
NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grambach joins us now with more on this and some other headlines from Washington. Gary, good morning. So let's just start on the fact that there are questions. I mean, where does this money even come from? How would this fund work?
So we know this money comes from something called the DOJ Judgment Fund, which is a pot of money that is allocated by Congress to pay out winnings from court and to pay out settlements. That already exists. It's been existing for almost 100 years now. We also know that members of Congress are working on legislation to stop this from happening, but it's not likely they're actually going to receive the votes needed to make that happen. But as you see on the screen there are so many questions that we just don't know the answer to. Everything from who is on the board, what is the application process to actually receive these funds, are those with a criminal record eligible? Because remember, many of the people that were arrested on and around January 6th have criminal records for other reasons. And what's the decision-making process as to who gets these funds and whether or not there's actually even any oversight over this $1.7 billion taxpayer money? Now, we know the president and his family cannot benefit from this fund, but this is all part of a larger settlement between the president, his family, and the IRS that prevents any previous unpaid tax claims from moving forward, meaning they can't be liable for anything that may or may not have been paid in recent years.
So Savannah? I mentioned this bipartisan backlash, Gary. What options does Congress have to stop this?
So they do have the ability to put forward legislation, and that is something they absolutely could do here. That is something that's actually being worked on by Republicans as we speak. Brian Fitzpatrick, who you saw there in the soundbite, is one of the people that is trying to bring forward this legislation. But that's not something that's necessarily going to actually work because the president is going to need to sign off on that legislation.
Gary, how's the Justice Department responding to this criticism?
So there are a ton of questions. Todd Blanche has been asked many of them in several interviews over the past couple of days. And he has said because of privacy laws, it's likely we're never going to actually find out who the people are that have won this money unless they announce it themselves. It's not like the Department of Justice is just going to release lists of these people. Because of these privacy laws, they're going to hide behind that. Now, whether or not there's going to be any oversight, that is something Congress could actually do.
Gary, a huge focus of this criticism is what happens to January 6th rioters and the opposition to this fund. It is right there in line with that. It's extending beyond just members of Congress. 2 police officers who defended the Capitol on January 6th, they just filed a lawsuit. They're trying to block this. They are calling it a slush fund to reward pro-Trump rioters. Tell us about this lawsuit.
Yeah, this was filed by Harry Dunn and Daniel Hodges, 2 of the more well-known people who protected the Capitol on January 6, 2021. And they argue in this lawsuit that this creation of this fund sort of rewards bad behavior, and is the idea that maybe threats could grow against some of President Trump's political enemies because of this fund. And by the way, we did the math on this. If every single January 6th arrestee is given $1 million, there are still money left in that fund.
Gary, let's shift gears. Other news from Washington here. The House is expected to vote on a war powers resolution today after it passed in the Senate earlier this week after having seen it fail quite a few times. What can we expect there? What does it ultimately mean for the war?
Yeah, 8th time is the charm for the Senate. They failed to pass it 7 times. They did get some support for some unlikely figures that got it over the line just yesterday. This now goes to the House, and it directs the authorization, the president to remove any U.S. forces from any war or conflict with Iran unless they get authorization from Congress directly for this war to continue.
All right, Gary Grumbach covering a lot for us. Thanks so much. Well, oil prices are rebounding again this morning amid renewed uncertainty over a U.S. peace deal in that war with Iran that would also reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Prices had dropped on Wednesday after President said negotiations were in the final stages. But since then, and now it's just Thursday, both sides have also warned of further attacks. We also have new data from the government's Energy Information Administration. It's showing that U.S. crude stockpiles plunged by 17.8 million barrels last week. That is the largest drop on record. Joining me now is John Kilduff. He's a founding partner at Again Capital. John, good morning. So we've seen this back and forth over a potential peace deal with Iran, over the potential reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and yet it has not materialized yet weeks into this, months into this. How sensitive are oil markets to that back and forth, to we have a peace deal, no, actually, we might attack again? What does that back and forth do to oil markets?
It's driving them wildly up and down. And I can give you a real-time example as we sit here right now. About half an hour ago, Iran's supreme leader said that the enriched uranium in Iran is to stay there. It's not to go abroad, which is a key tenet of the U.S. demands. That has pushed WTI, the Texas oil price, back over $100 a barrel. And it highlights the difficulty in trying to make a deal with Iran. As we saw over the decades, trying to make peace with them and manage their nuclear ambitions. This is the back and forth. It just goes on and on and on. And I think it's going to prove very frustrating for the administration here when they realize just how intractable the Iranians can be in these sorts of situations. So we are swinging really wildly on hope for peace and an end to this thing. And the reality on the ground, that is, the strait remains closed. There's been a trickle of ships that get through. But beyond that, it's nowhere near at the capacity we need it to be for oil prices to remain stable and hopefully head lower later in the year if we can unkink this hose.
John, I mentioned just a moment ago that last week we saw the biggest drop on record in U.S. crude inventories. On top of that, 10 million barrels of oil were also released from our strategic oil reserves. That's the largest release ever. Explain what that means, what that tells us about the state of our inventories and the future issues that could cause.
Yeah, I guess the best analogy I can make is if, unfortunately, you lose your job and you have savings. and you start to go through those savings. We are in the process of ripping through our savings in terms of crude oil inventories and refined products for that matter, gasoline especially. We're not at the point where I would call inventories tight yet. But you get a couple of more weeks of the magnitude of the drawdowns we've seen, not just this week, but the past several. And the call that's on for U.S. supplies from around the world right now, we are heading into tight inventory territory very, very quickly, probably just in time for the 4th of July, I think, is when the rubber's going to meet the road here globally in terms of supplies not keeping up with demand.
And that means higher gas prices, of course, which everybody's feeling, jet fuel prices, and then those plane tickets going up into this busy travel season like the 4th of July. According to AAA, the national average price for a gallon of gas, it's now $4.56. If you live somewhere like I do in New York or in California, you're routinely seeing that over $6 a gallon. If this situation remains as it is, how high could these prices go?
A lot of us in the industry are concerned about not the price so much as the availability. So let's hope we don't get to actual shortage situation. But there's no doubt in my mind at this point, given the intractability of the Iranians, as I just referenced, we're going to be challenging that all-time high for retail gasoline prices of over $5 a gallon here. Again, I think in time for the July 4th holiday. This is the crunch in terms of demand right now, this period between now and 4th of July. And that's going to help put a strain on available inventories, push those prices higher, and it looks likely that we'll be touching a $5 national average in the coming weeks.
John Kilduff, thanks very much. Well, college campuses around Boston are on edge this morning while authorities search for a suspect who they say followed people into dormitories at both Harvard and MIT, allegedly attempting to assault at least one woman. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the story.
Two famous campuses on edge. Police at MIT and Harvard looking for information on this man. Someone matching his description, authorities say, is suspected of breaking into a Harvard dorm Tuesday and allegedly assaulting someone. Police responding to a call at 5:30 at night.
Went up behind her from behind, pushed her inside, covered her mouth as they got the entryway.
According to a statement from Harvard police, the victim screamed, prompting nearby residents to exit their rooms, at which point the suspect fled. The victim did not report any injuries. Police asking officers to be on the lookout.
White male, 20 or 30s, 5'10" to 6 feet.
Then, according to MIT police, a woman reported being followed into the side entrance of a building on their campus later that night at roughly 5:45 when this photo was taken. The man matched the description of a person who was the subject of a Harvard University Police Department alert. Both campus police departments calling on anyone with information to contact them. MIT also offering advice, including report anyone acting suspicious on campus and asking students and teachers to lock residential and office doors and windows. Both schools rattled by the news.
There's always something in college that you hear about, and it's scary.
An uneasy night at two of the country's most prestigious universities. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Now the latest on the wildfires burning in California. This morning, thousands of people are under evacuation orders as the fast-moving fires get dangerously close to several neighborhoods. NBC correspondent Steve Patterson is on the front lines and has the latest. Steve, good morning.
Yeah, this early season, mid-May breakout of these fires really scattered across California. We've been on the front lines with firefighters as they tackle what's happening in the air.
The race to contain a wildfire outbreak now raging across California. In Simi Valley, the Sandy fire repeatedly flaring up, keeping more than 40,000 people under mandatory evacuations.
They got it under control, and then within an hour or two, the winds picked up.
The fire now expanding to more than 1,600 acres. So far, one home gutted by flames. More than 800 firefighters on the front lines trying to keep it that way.
This is the fire line.
We hiked with crews in treacherous terrain, working around the clock to keep the hot spots down.
This is incredibly dry fuel. That's why I say this fire still has so much potential.
And you can see the air attack behind me, crews trying to knock out these flames, dropping water on problem and hot spots, those flare-ups, so they can avoid it from encroaching into the community.
To the east in Riverside County, a cluster of brush fires broke out, even spawning this smoke NATO. Residents on roofs scrambling to save their homes.
We've never had anything come this close.
The state's largest fire, burning some 40 miles off the California coast, chewing through the largely uninhabited Santa Rosa Island. Authorities are investigating if it may have been sparked when a 67-year-old sailor was left stranded after crashing against the rocky shore, then shooting emergency flares into the island's bone-dry brush. The sailor even carving an SOS into the ground, awaiting rescue as the flames scattered.
And the problem this time of day, the crosswinds. You have winds going in one direction, then suddenly from the other direction, causing what's happening in the canyon behind me. You might be able to see some of that smoldering, the white smoke. That's because there are columns of fire in the canyon beyond. We've been seeing a consistent air attack. Fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters dropping water, dropping fire retardant, trying to knock this out as much as they possibly can, because really it only takes one ember for this fire to move to a completely new front. Back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Well, as far as weekends go, there are a few bigger ones when it comes to weather, right? And us all watching it the Memorial Day weekend. I don't know how good the news is, though, from our friend Angie Lassman. She's tracking the latest conditions. Good morning. Tell us what we can expect where everybody lives across the country.
You know what, Savannah, can I just say, it is very hard to be a meteorologist when there is not great weather forecasted for a busy outdoor weekend.
It's been a rough year for you, I feel.
Yes, it has been a little tough, but let's talk about the things that we've seen improvements on. And if you didn't like the heat, you've seen big improvements across most of the country. We've seen a dramatic drop. If you were looking for a little more comfortable conditions, you got them in New York City and Washington, D.C. Notice those temperatures 20 to even 30 degrees lower than where they were just yesterday. Still really warm farther south. If you look towards Raleigh, 93 degrees for folks there. And big picture look for the weekend doesn't look great if you're looking for the heat. Of course, if you want to head to the beach, we're going to see temperatures only into the 60s Friday and Saturday in Atlantic City. We've got 50s on tap on Saturday in New York City. Montauk ends up into those low 60s. Even Washington, D.C., just the 60s for Friday and Saturday. And you start to see a little more warmth by Sunday with a high of 76 degrees. But it's really going to be the rain that kind of dampers the plans as we get into the weekend for parts of the east. Notice where that satellite and radar is showing some shower and even thunderstorm activity. Parts of southern Texas really active with the thunderstorms there. We've got some of that action across parts of the plains as well as the southeast stretching up into the mid-Atlantic and even pockets of the northeast. It's all because of this kind of stationary front that's just hanging around. It is going to dip a little farther to the south, and that's where you'll see some of that rain through the day today. But still, the heavy rain across the plains and the Gulf Coast on tap for today. It eventually starts to lift farther to the north and brings all of that moisture with it. So there's some heavy rain we're expecting across the Ohio River Valley and stretching out to the mid-Atlantic. It's still going to be stormy, unfortunately, for our friends across the southeast and the Gulf Coast. And then here's a look at Saturday. The heavy rain, the windy conditions, they're focused across the northeast. Not great for, of course, Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. We'll still see some rain in the Ohio Valley and stretching to the mid-Atlantic, too. Heads up, there are some flood alerts across parts of southern Texas. You saw that really heavy rain there. But big picture look, we're going to see plenty, maybe 2 to 3 more inches here as we get through Saturday across the south. And then an inch or two is going to be the higher amounts across parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Ohio River Valley and parts of the southeast, too. You're going to see plenty of that rain. So unfortunately, it's in the picture, and that means that the flash flooding concern is there as well. Joplin, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston all have that slight risk for flash flooding as we get through the day today. So a little bumpy when it comes to the rain and the thunderstorms. We'll see that severe risk as well. Just a sliver of parts of the plains, Sterling, Yuma, Lamar, all included in that, but hail, wind gusts, and a low risk of tornadoes. So a lot going on, and I know a lot of people are focusing on the outdoor plans this weekend, Savannah. It's not going to be great across parts of the east, really. We're going to have to be watching in and out of some of those showered thunderstorm activity.
Let's just take a second and imagine
a sunny.
If it would have been flipped where these last 3 days have been summer.
I know. I thought that yesterday when I was walking around.
Why?
I know. Mother Nature said no, thank you.
Oh my gosh! And now it's raining. Maybe it would have been too good.
Find some indoor plans.
Too fast. It would have been just too fast and furious. All right, Angie, thanks so much. We'll see you in a little bit. Much more to come here on Morning News Now later this hour. New developments in Ebola outbreak overseas. What we know about an American patient just transferred for treatment. Up first, though, right after the break, caught on camera, the investigation into this on your screen, a fiery explosion on the streets of New York. Look at that. That's up next. Stay with us. We're back now with some scary moments in Lower Manhattan this week that sent bystanders running for safety. Video captured the moment a car exploded around the corner from Wall Street, sending thick plumes of smoke into the air. Luckily, no injuries were reported, but just look at this video. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda shows us how it all unfolded.
It's like a scene out of a movie. A car engulfed in flames, exploding into a massive fireball in New York City. Sending frantic pedestrians scrambling for safety.
2 Broadway and Stone Street putting a car on fire.
Thick black smoke smothered the intersection near Wall Street's famed Charging Bull statue.
There was a series of booms followed by a plume of smoke. And
Josh Crandall works in the area and described the chaos in the thick of rush hour Tuesday.
I didn't know what was going to happen next. Am I safe? Are those other people safe? Is there something bigger going on?
You can see this charge sign even 24 hours later, and over here where the fire burned through a car that the Metropolitan Transportation Authority tells us was one of their vehicles.
Video showing early stages of the fire, burning the front end and the scorched aftermath. Remarkably, fire officials say no one was injured in the massive fireball as they investigate what caused the stunning scene. Emily Ikeda, NBC News, New York.
Wow, those visuals are wild. Well, we've got a major update about those Americans quarantining in Nebraska after that exposure to hantavirus. One of them is now saying he wants to be released. It comes as an American battling another deadly disease. Ebola has been transported to Germany for treatment. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa has the latest.
As the global race to contain Africa's surging Ebola outbreak intensifies, new video shows the American surgeon infected in the DR Congo arriving via ambulance at a German hospital. This as a report in the Washington Post says the White House resisted allowing Dr. Peter Stafford to return to the U.S. for treatment, delaying his evacuation and care, according to 5 people familiar with the Ebola response. A White House spokesperson telling NBC News the report is absolutely false. Directors of the missionary group Dr. Stafford was traveling with describing his condition as crews guided him onto a plane.
He's hanging on them, barely strong enough to walk. So he looked really tired and really sick.
Health officials say Dr. Stafford's wife, 4 kids, and another American physician were also exposed and transferred to hospitals in Berlin and Prague for monitoring. So far, there are 139 suspected deaths and close to 600 suspected cases now tied to the outbreak, those case numbers nearly tripling in the last 5 days. Meanwhile, back in the U.S., these are the 2 federal quarantine orders issued to one of the 18 American passengers exposed to hantavirus on this cruise ship and now isolating at this Nebraska hospital, which the passenger calls a prison. A 30-year-old New Yorker, he asked to remain anonymous amid online threats to his fellow passengers. The orders saying leaving early to isolate at home would potentially endanger the public's health, adding if he does leave, he could face a criminal fine or up to a year in jail. The passenger telling us, quote, no one here is asking not to be under quarantine, adding he's very angry about not being allowed to leave.
The passenger we spoke to says he's considering all options, including potential legal action, stressing he wants to remain under strict quarantine for the full 6 weeks, just at home. Back to you.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Well, coming up on Morning News Now, a plea to patients that could help save lives.
I asked my oncologist at the time, truly, what do you recommend? She told me, if you were my daughter, I would tell my daughter to do this clinical trial.
Do you think you're alive today because of a trial?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Up next, the renewed push for more participants in clinical trials and why actor Rob Lowe says he wants to help spread the word. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Each year, billions of dollars are spent on medical research and clinical trials to help make new, groundbreaking treatments available. But some patients are hesitant to participate in those trials. Doctors warn that without enough participants, life-saving medications and treatments cannot be developed. NBC News medical reporter Dr. Akshay Syal is here with us this morning, and he spoke with actor Rob Lowe, who is working to get more patients to participate. This is so cool. Dr. Syal, good morning.
Good morning. A very important message, Savannah. You know, clinical trials are responsible for many of the breakthroughs that we take for granted in medicine, including new cancer drugs that help people live longer, fuller lives. And doctors say many trials struggle to find enough patients, sometimes even delaying or even preventing new treatments from reaching them. And for Rob Lowe, this is something that hits very close to home.
I'm not this to you. I'm working.
You're done working.
I am not done working.
He's one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Secretary.
From teen idol to dramatic actor to comedy star, Rob Lowe has proven that he can play it all. Now, he's stepping into a new role, working with pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly to encourage more cancer patients to enroll in clinical trials, a major challenge for cancer researchers.
My great-grandma, my grandma, and my mother all had breast cancer, all eventually passed from breast cancer.
Their battles with cancer were all happening just as his acting career was taking off.
I'm starring in all these movies, and then I would come home and I would be, dealing with my grandma, and then later with my mother. And it reminds you of what's important.
Roughly 2 million people will be diagnosed with cancer in the United States just this year. Cancer treatment has advanced dramatically in recent decades, but doctors say many promising therapies aren't reaching patients.
Less than 5% of people, especially the cancer population, are enrolling into clinical trials.
Wow.
And this is problematic.
Dr. Edward Kim is an oncologist and system director of clinical trials at City of Hope in California. He says a dramatic increase in enrollment is needed to get newer treatments to patients.
Every time we hear about a story about a new groundbreaking therapy, that comes from a clinical trial.
Are there potentially life-saving treatments that are sitting out on a shelf somewhere because these trials can't get off the ground?
That is a struggle. We don't know until we try, and that's where the science really drives it.
In fact, up to 20% of clinical trials fail because not enough patients enroll. He says doctors and patients may not even know that a trial exists. 25-year-old Serene Hesri was diagnosed with lymphoma during the pandemic. After a relapse, she turned to a clinical trial at City of Hope, hoping for another chance.
Was there any part of you that's apprehensive about doing an entirely experimental treatment?
No. I asked my oncologist at the time, truly, what do you recommend? She told me, if you were my daughter, I would tell my daughter to do this clinical trial.
Do you think you're alive today because of a trial?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
What are you guys doing on the provider side to sort of increase awareness about getting patients in trials?
Awareness and finding it in a specific manner are really big problems right now. There are resources like clinicaltrials.gov, but frankly, each center has to try and do this work on its own.
Lowe says a clinical trial gave his grandmother almost 20 years that she wouldn't have had.
What do you think Grandma Mim would say if she knew you were doing this?
She would say, cut your hair, probably. She would be so surprised and so happy that we're talking about her, and that her story is being shown as an example of what clinical trials can be. She would be, I'm sure, thrilled.
And doctors say if you or a loved one is facing a cancer diagnosis, it's worth talking to your team about whether a clinical trial may be an option from the beginning. It could provide access to cutting-edge treatments and potentially be life-saving, Savannah.
Oh my gosh, what an incredible message from him. And very cool to see him throwing his weight behind that.
I mean, 3 multiple generations of family members affected by the same disease. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. My aunt was alive for years longer than she would have been. She did pass away from lung cancer, but it was a clinical trial that kept her alive for as long as it did. So it's incredible.
Yeah.
Dr. Sile, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Anytime.
Well, the centuries-old Chinese tile game Mahjong is making a comeback. It has recently seen this surge in popularity. I'm sure you've seen it on social media. And through these in-person Mahjong leagues. Not only is it a great social activity, but some experts say the game can help keep your brain strong as you get older. Kate Chappell from NBC Chicago spoke to one doctor about the health benefits.
Cars pack this quiet suburban street, tranquil.
I have Mahjong.
Inside, it's anything but.
Crack Dragon. This is Crack Dragon. Strategy call. Yeah. Whoa.
As a geriatrician, if someone asked me what is the one activity that I would recommend for healthy aging, Mahjong would be very high on my list.
Dr. Erica Hutz is a geriatrician with Endeavor Health. Many of her patients play Mahjong and have for years, including 89-year-old Marcia Myers.
I couldn't believe all the jokers I got.
70 years later, she still enjoys the Chinese tile game, now sharing her wisdom with a new generation of women eager to learn the game.
What is it about Mahjong that's so good for the brain?
It requires good memory, good strategy, pattern recognition.
Players get tiles based on dice and have to arrange those tiles into spatial sequences. Because of the visual and mental coordination required, there's even research that shows the game can slow cognitive decline, improving attention and memory in elderly people. It can also combat social isolation since it requires 4 players.
We know that social isolation is as risky as smoking for older adults. Mahjong is creating that routine. It creates the community. It creates that connection.
For Marcia,
do you think Mahjong helps keep your brain sharp?
Yes.
How
as far
so?
as I'm concerned, it does.
She's not surprised. The game transcends generations, but does have this piece of advice.
It can be a game of profit, but you can't do that when you're what we call an amateur, and you can't have all the conversation that's going on.
All right, that was the push I needed. I got to get into it. Our thanks to Kate Chappell for that report. Dr. Het says her top 3 recommendations to slow cognitive decline are exercise, a healthy diet, and mental stimulation from a social game just like that one. Coming up, going public, SpaceX confirming plans for what would likely be the biggest IPO ever. We've got more on the move that could make Elon Musk a trillionaire. And say hello to the new Jell-O, why the jiggly dessert is looking to fit a new mold. That's next on Morning News Now. Back with some money news now. Hundreds of flights out of New York were delayed yesterday after a sinkhole shut down one of LaGuardia's main runways. NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch has our Money Minute. Hey, Emily.
Hey, good morning, Savannah. That's right. Right before the busy Memorial Day weekend, travel headaches are mounting. The New York airport posting on X that the large hole was discovered during a routine inspection, forcing the runway's closure so teams could fix the issue. The Post also saying the construction could cause cancellations and delays, but the runway is expected to open back up today. Anyone with a flight out of or to LaGuardia Airport is advised to check in with their airline for the latest. And one of the biggest days on Wall Street is getting closer. SpaceX, controlled by Elon Musk, laid out its plans to go public in a filing on Wednesday. This sets the stage for what could become the biggest stock market debut ever, and it could make Musk a trillionaire. The company is reportedly seeking a $2 trillion valuation and plans to make its move in June. And if a large iced beverage isn't enough to get you through the upcoming hot summer days, Dunkin' is bringing back its solution. That's by stocking up for a limited time on its 48-ounce drink buckets. They have a straw, handle, and all the buckets are available starting tomorrow. And Dunkin' is also rolling out new refreshers, providing more options to choose from when committing to those 48 ounces. Savannah, I know you're not a huge fan of the sugary drinks. I know you're a coffee fan.
But you could bring a bucket of coffee.
Are you okay with 48 ounces of it, though? That's a lot. A lot of caffeine.
I don't know. I have no concept of how many ounces is this. Yeah. All right, Emily, thanks so much. Well, more food companies are moving away from artificial dyes to align more with the White House's Make America Healthy Again agenda. Jell-O is joining that trend, introducing a new line of fruit gelatin cups made with natural colors and less sugar. NBC News senior consumer investigative correspondent Vicki Nguyen takes a closer look.
Instead, I made some fun.
A century-old American dessert marketed to parents and kids for generations.
There's so much you can do when you have a bowl of Jell-O gelatin made up.
With much of its appeal coming from its gravity-defying gelatin and its most unnatural colors, now trying to fit into a new mold with a more natural look. Jell-O rolling out a new line made without synthetic colors or artificial sweeteners.
I feel like you can kind of taste that it's artificial, so it definitely sounds more intriguing.
Its maker, the Kraft Heinz Company, says Jell-O simply will have real fruit juice. It will also cut 25% of the sugar from the original version and its puddings. Ingredients, it says, parents increasingly want.
I'd buy more.
One new survey showing nearly half of U.S. parents say they're looking for options with less sugar for their kids. And industry-wide sales of pre-made gelatin fell 21% over the last 4 years.
I think we'll see more and more of this, particularly because people want to know what's in their food and there's a demand for it. And ultimately, it's for the good of the health of the American population. So as a dietitian, I'm going to say thumbs up to that.
The brand getting slammed on social media for its legacy products, which will still be available for now.
You're getting a ton of chemicals when you're eating Jell-O.
Shaking up the jiggly snack coincides with the Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again agenda, spearheaded by Health Secretary RFK Jr. and backed by an army of influencers known as Maha Moms.
In the United States, they use petroleum-based dyes that hurt American kids.
After the FDA banned an artificial dye, Red No. 3, at the end of President Biden's term, Team Maha going further, urging food makers to phase out other artificial colorings. Kraft Heinz saying last summer it would do just that by the end of next year. And other big brands, Hershey, Kellogg's, General Mills, and more, falling in line. Cheetos and Doritos, owned by PepsiCo, rolled out colorless alternatives to some of their chips. Maha moms are, for the most part, praising the big shift on dyes, but have recently clashed with the administration on other issues, like its decision to increase production of a controversial pesticide. And whether consumers will buy these new, more muted food products, still to be seen. I would just eat it. Kraft Heinz announced a similar artificial dye-free alternative Jell-O a decade ago. It was discontinued. We'll see if this fresh change will actually stick. Vicki Nguyen, NBC News.
All right, I'm open to it. I'll give it a shot. Coming up on Morning News Now, a new face coming to late night TV.
African Americans, we own very little in the way of business. I want to serve as an example to kids growing up that look like me. Hey, I don't have to just play the game. I can own the game.
Media mogul Byron Allen getting ready to step into Stephen Colbert's time slot. When we come back, his conversation with our friend Chloe Melas on what he sees for the future of late night entertainment. We're going to end this hour with a man who is betting big on the future of late night TV. As Stephen Colbert gets ready to sign off from The Late Show, comedian and businessman Byron Allen is preparing to step into his time slot at CBS. He's hoping the new show helps him launch the world's biggest media company. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas has more.
When Colbert got unexpectedly canceled, I said, okay, do you like money? They said yes.
The way Byron Allen describes it, getting Stephen Colbert's coveted time slot was the easy part.
I'll buy the time period and you can save over $110 million.
Allen's Comics Unleashed, a long-running comedy talk show, moves to 11:35 on CBS starting Friday, ushering in a new era of late night with its unorthodox business model. Allen says he will lease the time from CBS and sell the ad revenue himself.
I'm putting a lot of money in their cash register. I am a gift from the money gods and the comedy gods.
CBS did not respond to our request for comment, but last year said canceling The Late Show was purely a financial decision.
You look like an exquisite Tootsie Roll to me right now.
Comics Unleashed will trade in Colbert's pointed political commentary for broad evergreen comedy.
I don't care who you vote for. I just don't care. That's your business. Go do what you gotta do. You know, I'm just here to make you laugh.
That's a weave he got on.
Allen says don't expect him to reinvent the show.
The format's the same. Nothing political, nothing sexist, nothing racist, nothing anti-Semitic, nothing homophobic. Just be funny.
I know that you had lunch with Stephen Colbert. What has he had to say?
He is a phenomenal human being. Stephen Colbert is truly special. I mean, I love him. He is so gracious, so kind, so genuine. And he texted me and said congratulations on getting the time period.
For Allen, this is a dream decades in the making, one that started as a kid on the NBC lot watching Johnny Carson.
I thought, what a wonderful way to go through life, making people laugh.
Make him feel welcome, would you? Byron Allen.
And years later, that kid would get his own shot on Carson's stage, becoming one of the youngest comedians to perform on The Tonight Show.
Can you imagine that? What you have for lunch? I don't know.
Today, Allen is the owner of Allen Media Group, which owns more than 20 local broadcast stations and 8 TV networks, including the Weather Channel. He's grown his empire with the same playbook. Take a media brand past its prime and find new value in it. His latest move? Taking control of BuzzFeed to use its content on his ad-supported streaming service, Local Now.
I'm going to make BuzzFeed a streamer using the technology of Local Now. We're building on it, and we're going to have user-generated content.
Allen's built his business on the idea of ownership, but for him, it's about more than money.
In the history of television, in almost 100 years, you've never had a black person at 11:30 on ABC, NBC, CBS. So I think that's important, to control our images and control how we're produced and depicted. And I also think it's important that we own something. America is America, Inc. African Americans, we own very little in the way of business. I want to serve as an example to kids growing up that look like me. Hey, I don't have to just play the game. I can own the game.
Chloe Melas, NBC News.
Our thanks to Chloe for that report, and looking forward to that debut. And Stephen Colbert's last show coming up. That's going to do it, though, for this hour of Morning News Now. But stay with us. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right now. Good morning. Thank you for being with us this Thursday morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. It's just me right now on Morning News Now. Billion-dollar backlash. New questions this morning swirling around President Trump's massive government weaponization fund. How taxpayer money is being used for the fund, and concerns that convicted January 6th rioters could get a slice of it. More on the bipartisan effort on Capitol Hill to shut it down. Also this morning, raising the stakes, a former Cuban president, the younger brother of Fidel Castro, wanted for murder. Federal prosecutors charging Raúl Castro for his alleged role in the downing of 2 humanitarian planes that killed 4 people back in 1996, 3 of them Americans. What Cuba's government now has to say about it amid a new era of uncertainty over its already strained relationship with the U.S. Plus, whiplash. Mother Nature serving up a sizable chill to millions all over the East Coast this morning, icing out a days-long heat wave with a violent swath of severe storms that brought along some dangerous flooding and even hail to New Yorkers overnight. So will the weather cooperate for Memorial Day? Our Angie Lassman has your answer in a bit, but you might not like it. And you could call it the last show with Stephen Colbert. Well, at least for now, what viewers can expect from tonight's big finale and what the future might hold for the bona fide titan of comedy. Tune in later in the hour. We've got a lot to get to this morning. Thanks again for starting your morning with us. We're going to begin this hour with the new questions being raised about the process and legality behind the Trump administration's anti-weaponization fund. The nearly $1.8 billion fund of taxpayer money was established to award what the administration is calling victims of government weaponization. That includes January 6 rioters. 2 police officers who defended the Capitol that day are now suing to block this fund that's generating swift opposition and raising several questions about presidential power. NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles has more on where this fund came from and that new bipartisan effort on Capitol Hill to stop it. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Now, this fund was the result of a lawsuit filed by President Trump against the IRS and the Treasury Department for $10 billion as the result of the leak of his tax returns. But this morning, there are growing legal and political questions about how the fund will dole out payments and if it was even necessary to begin with.
President Donald Trump defending a new fund designed to provide payments to Americans who claim to be victims of what he describes as government weaponization.
We're reimbursing those people for their legal fees and for their costs and for anybody involved.
But now lawmakers on both sides of the aisle expressing concerns.
I have almost zero confidence in the DOJ right now. And so let's go back and try and regain some of that confidence before we talk about any money.
He just wants to continue to use the budget of the United States illegally as a political slush fund for his foot soldiers.
It all comes from an agreement between the president and his own administration after Trump's legal team dropped a lawsuit against the IRS over the release of the president's tax returns.
Donald Trump made up a whole bogus lawsuit that he ultimately withdrew.
The president also agreeing to drop other claims against the government in exchange for the new fund, which will provide money to Trump allies who say they were wrongly prosecuted by the Biden or Obama administrations.
It's entirely voluntary if an individual wants to apply.
Those receiving money may include January 6 rioters. Trump and his family will not receive any of the money. But as part of the agreement, the DOJ saying the U.S. cannot pursue any ongoing audits into the finances of the president, his businesses, or family members.
I have never seen anything like this in my decades at the Justice Department.
Rupa Bhattacharya, who led the 9/11 Victims Fund, said the agreement may face challenges.
It is not at all clear to me what the legal authority is for diverting these funds.
Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick sending Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche a letter asking for more information.
I don't support it. I think you can't do that.
But standing in the way of the fund may be a tough ask of rank-and-file Republicans who do not want to cross Donald Trump.
Everybody should support that.
So, Ryan, what's the next step here in this fight?
Well, some of those House and Senate members who have asked the Department of Justice for specifics are promising to stand in the way of the fund without their authorization. And there's also a series of lawsuits in the works that will force the courts to weigh in on whether or not the fund is legitimate. Savannah?
Ryan, thanks so much. Well, the Justice Department has announced criminal charges against former Cuban President Raúl Castro. The 94-year-old brother of late Cuban revolutionary leader Fidel Castro is being charged for his alleged role in the 1996 shooting down of 2 civilian planes. The incident left 4 people dead, including 3 Americans. Raúl Castro is now formally charged with conspiracy and murder. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch joins us now from Miami with more on the reaction to this historic indictment. Jesse, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. This was a moment filled with symbolism. Raúl Castro charged with murder on Cuban Independence Day. The announcement made inside a Miami building that served as a Cuban Ellis Island for so many asylum seekers. And with victims' family members in the room, as the acting attorney general announced the charges, he received a standing ovation.
This morning, former Cuban President Raúl Castro is wanted for murder.
We expect that he will show up here by his own will or by another way.
Fidel Castro's younger brother indicted by an American grand jury for conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, destroying American civilian aircraft, and premeditated murder.
The United States and President Trump does not and will not forget its citizens.
In February 1996, Cuban fighter jets shot down 2 small planes that were part of the Cuban-American exile group Brothers to the Rescue. 3 Americans and 1 U.S. permanent resident were killed. Cuba says the planes violated its airspace. The U.S. government says they were unarmed humanitarians flying over international waters. Miriam de la Pena's 24-year-old son Mario was one of the Americans shot down.
It is important to indict and to pursue justice for those that have been abused.
While many in Miami celebrated the news, it's not clear if justice will ever actually be served. Raúl Castro is 94 years old and still a force in Cuba's communist regime. The indictment also comes after American forces captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro in January. And for months, the White House has been ramping up pressure on Cuba's regime, too.
If people look at this and say this is at least partially just a pretext to push for regime change in Cuba, what would you say?
I don't care what people look at and think.
President Trump downplaying concerns.
There won't be escalation.
On social media, Cuba's current president saying this indictment is political, meant to justify American military action in the region. President Miguel Diaz-Canel calling this a, quote, ridiculous attempt to diminish Raúl Castro's stature as a hero. Savannah.
All right, Jesse, thank you. Well, wild weather is impacting millions of travelers across the country ahead of the Memorial Weekend getaway. I likely don't have to tell you that. Severe storms and heavy flooding, they're hitting the Northeast and causing flight cancellations and delays, while surging gas prices, they are impacting those of us who are planning to hit the road. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa joins us from Secaucus, New Jersey with the latest. Emily, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Good morning to you. Well, I can tell you that the record number of people getting behind the wheel and hitting the road this weekend, they will be watching those gas prices very closely, up more than 40% from a year ago, according to AAA. And it's not just the pain at the pump that is putting a damper on the holiday weekend. The wet and cold weather is also getting the travel rush off to a bit of a bumpy start.
This morning, wild weather wreaking havoc ahead of one of the year's busiest travel weekends. With torrential rain and massive hail pounding the Northeast overnight. Severe flooding ravaging New York City, turning roadways into rivers. This city bus navigating dangerous knee-deep waters.
I've never seen flooding like this, guys.
And pedestrians wading through flooded streets. Thunderstorms also pummeled Georgia, bringing downpours during Atlanta's rush hour, halting traffic on a major highway.
Why would y'all even try it?
Even forcing some drivers to swim to safety. The washout on the East Coast coming as many prepare to hit the road ahead of Memorial Day weekend. But those soaring gas prices still a concern, above $4 a gallon now in every state. While at the nation's airports, today is expected to be the busiest travel day, according to the FAA.
Those storms already slowing down some passengers, with over 7,000 flight delays yesterday as airports like Newark International navigate packed schedules.
The tower just called us and said they cannot take any more airplanes. They are in gridlock tonight.
While at nearby LaGuardia Airport in New York,
LaGuardia has a sinkhole on one of their runways.
a sinkhole forcing a runway shutdown.
The entire flight board is red, like canceled, delayed.
Despite a stormy start, many Americans still looking forward to the first holiday weekend of summer.
The weather does not even matter. People are still going to be outside.
And the FAA says that today will be the busiest day at airports with more than 54,000 flights scheduled today. You can also expect a whole lot of traffic and company on the roads too. Transportation data company INRIX says that Big Getaway will see its worst traffic today and tomorrow between 3 and 6 p.m. Savannah.
All right, Emily, thanks so much. Well, let's continue this conversation with Aixa Diaz. She's a spokesperson for AAA. Aixa, always great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us ahead of a big weekend. So we just heard there from that AAA says the average price for a gallon of gas is now above $4 in every state. In this state that I'm in, New York, I just filled up the other day, it was over $6 a gallon. The national average, $4.56. How significant are those milestones and what it tells us about this current environment for consumers?
Savannah, we were in this same situation 4 years ago in 2022. Gas prices are reaching those same highs of that year. Remember, that was after Russia, Ukraine, and we saw gas prices hit $5 a gallon for the national average in June of 2022. We're not there yet, but we are certainly close to what we were paying this time, that time. Now, last year we were paying $3.17. Now it's $4.56. You have to also remember, this is the time when gas prices go up anyway, because spring, summer is when demand is highest, especially over holiday weekend periods. And you've got that summer blend gasoline hitting gas stations as well, and that's more expensive to produce. That cost is passed on to consumers.
So we've talked so much about the volatility here in these oil prices because of this uncertainty with the war in Iran. So let's just say status quo continues. Situation in the Strait of Hormuz stays the same. Oil, gas not passing through there. How high do we think we could see gas prices get this summer?
They could steadily continue going up. We've seen sort of a plateau in the national average. It's been ticking down a bit and then it starts going back up. It depends whether there's optimism that the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. When there is optimism, the crude oil price goes down and then gas prices come down. Then when there's talk that perhaps that's not going to happen, they start going back up. But if crude oil prices remain in the $100 a barrel range, certainly we can expect gas prices to remain elevated. And if the Strait continues to be closed, you've got demand going up. Drivers can certainly brace for even higher gas prices, but how high, you just don't know. And again, everything is so volatile that it could change one day and then they could start coming down.
And the other big question, right, continues to be, is there enough supply? We were talking our last hour about the issue that we could get into by about the 4th of July if the situation in the Strait of Hormuz continues. Despite all this, though, Aixa, AAA is predicting 45 million people are going to travel this weekend. That's a new record, actually, and the majority traveling by road. Are you surprised by that or not? Because we also know there's this issue that the same conversation that we're having right now about gas prices is impacting jet fuel prices.
Exactly. And for most people, driving is still going to be the cheaper option, because unless you have a cross-country trip and you have to take a flight, if you have maybe a 5 to 8 hour road trip, you're probably going to choose that over buying a flight. Domestic round trip tickets have been averaging, at least for top destinations, according to AAA, $800 a ticket. So you're certainly not going to be paying that for gas prices, especially if you maybe have friends in the car who can help you pay some of that. But 39.1 million people are traveling by road this weekend, and it starts today. Today is when the rush begins. This afternoon, traffic will be bad. Tomorrow afternoon as well. And then everybody comes back on Monday. But Gen Z is driving a lot of this. Young people want to get away. They want experiences. And they grew up traveling with their family. So it's something that has become part of tradition, especially in American culture. These weekends, July 4th, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, those are the weekends people like to get away.
Aixa Diaz, thank you so much. Well, now let's bring in meteorologist Angie Lassman to look at where things stand ahead of that holiday weekend when it comes to the weather and how much we can enjoy it. Angie, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. We've got a little bit of weather whiplash going on across much of the country, really. Temperatures on the cool side of things, which is a very different story from what we were dealing with just yesterday in some of these spots. Notice we're 20 to even 30 degrees cooler from just 24 hours ago. By the time we get into this afternoon, just 65 degrees is all you're going to get in New York City. Much more comfortable if you're looking for the more comfortable uncomfortable conditions. You've got it from Boston to Washington, D.C., back across parts of the Ohio Valley and even the plains. Fairly cool for May. We're still hanging on to some warmer conditions across parts of the South. Raleigh, you can see, ends up at 93 degrees through the day today. As we look ahead to the weekend, we keep it on the cool side of things. So not great beach weather for folks that want to be outdoors. We're also going to see some rain and some strong onshore winds, so really making it difficult to enjoy the beach this weekend. In Atlantic City, Friday and Saturday, it's just low 60s. You eventually bump up to the low 70s by Sunday. Even chillier in Harrisburg, 54 for your high on Saturday. We've got 60s on tap Friday and Saturday for Washington, D.C. It does look like the better day is going to be 77 degrees kind of conditions on Sunday in places like Ocean City. But even still, it doesn't look great because we've got all of this rain to talk about as well. And much of this is ongoing even this morning for some spots. So parts of southern Texas dealing with the really heavy rain. We've got flood alerts up there. We've also got some of that rain kind of sticking with us, Savannah, through the next couple of days. It's all part of this pesky system that keeps the rain in the picture and makes it not so great for the official start of summer this weekend. Even as we get into your Saturday, notice all of that moisture kind of just hanging around, and that takes us into Sunday and Monday, unfortunately, as well.
Okay, I'm cracking up at like 3 maps ago. It was just titled Lousy Weather Weekend.
Because how else can you describe it for Memorial Day weekend when we've got not only the rain in the forecast, but it's also going to be quite windy at the beach, and on top of that, temperatures are going to top out into the 60s. I mean,
it's lousy.
Across the board, it's lousy.
Such a specific word that really is hidden.
It really encompasses it in its whole.
Thanks, Angie.
You got it.
There's much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including how one major airline is working to make sure your bags get to where you are going safely and on time this holiday weekend. First, though, after the break, the new drug that might just turn out to be a weight loss wonder. More on an experimental treatment that reportedly helped patients lose, get this, nearly a third of their body weight. We're going to tell you everything about it next. Welcome back. This morning, there are growing questions about the global response to this Ebola outbreak in Central Africa, which has now spread to more than 600 suspected cases and at least 139 deaths. Well, new reporting from NBC News is examining whether major cuts to U.S. foreign aid may have slowed early detection and response efforts. Last year, you might remember the Trump administration moved to dismantle much of the U.S. Agency for International Development, canceling many of its programs and cutting thousands of jobs while shifting some operations to the State Department. Well, now, former U.S. health officials believe if USAID had remained intact, its resources may have helped contain this outbreak earlier, possibly saving lives. The State Department denies the changes hurt the response. NBC News medical reporter Erica Edwards joins us now with the latest on this. Erica, good morning. So you're reporting here, it found that these former health officials believe that those cuts may have caused this issue. What do they say was lost with these cuts?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Savannah. We spoke with more than a dozen both former and current federal health officials who said we've lost valuable time in this outbreak because speed is key, right? How quickly folks on the ground can identify and stop an outbreak. Now, historically, USAID has been there to help detect new viruses, make sure that there's enough medical equipment like PPE to go around, set up hand washing stations, deploy local health workers who can screen people and track others down who may have been exposed, and of course, help support labs and testing for viruses. Savannah.
So the State Department I just mentioned, they're pushing back on this claim. What are they saying, and what about health workers dealing with this on the ground?
Yeah, so State Department spokesperson said in a statement, I'm going to read it right now, it's false to claim that the USAID reform has negatively impacted the nation's ability to respond to Ebola. I should point out the State Department also announced $23 million in foreign assistance and is planning to fund up to 50 clinics for emergency screening, triage, and isolation. But the timeline for setting up those clinics is unclear. The virus has had several weeks of a head start, and health workers on the ground are just trying desperately to catch up. Savannah.
Also, let's talk about the actual outbreak here, Ebola. I mean, obviously, it's making people concerned. It is something very serious to contract. How concerning is this outbreak right now, and what are the chances it spreads beyond Africa?
Yeah, as you said, Savannah, as of this morning, there were about 600 suspected cases and nearly 140 deaths. When it comes to spread beyond that epicenter, We know that viruses are just a plane ride away from really anywhere in the world. We saw this during the 2014 Ebola outbreak. An infected man from Liberia flew to Dallas. Sadly, he died, but he also got 2 healthcare workers, 2 nurses sick. Now, the reassuring part about this is Ebola is not like the flu. It's not like COVID. It's not airborne. You can only become infected, health officials say, with direct contact with a sick person, their bodily fluids or contaminated linens, towels, and other surfaces. That's why really healthcare workers and their caregivers are at most risk. Savannah.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. Important stuff to be talking about. Well, let's stick with our health. A new experimental weight loss drug could soon be the most powerful GLP-1 treatment on the market. Drug maker Eli Lilly says that in its latest clinical trial, this new drug, it's called retatrutide, it helped some people lose nearly a third of their body weight. Some results were also similar to patients who got bariatric surgery. Eli Lilly says it expects to file for FDA approval as soon as this year. We have NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar joining me on set. Dr. Azar, good morning. I mean, those are some serious stats I just said there. A third of your body weight. Put in context how different that is from the GLP-1s that are already on the market.
Yep. Okay, well, the first thing that distinguishes this medicine from the other GLPs that are on the market is that this new medicine targets 3 different hormones that are responsible for hunger regulation and appetite suppression and all of that stuff.
So that's how it works.
So it works in similar ways to Wegovy and to Zepbound, but then it adds another hormone on top of it that is specifically associated with appetite suppression, calorie burning, even at rest, and how your body breaks down fat to use energy. So it's like, it really is kind of remarkable. And if we're talking about numbers, the individuals who took this medicine, retatrutide, for about 80 weeks, which is a year and a half, lost on average up to 70 pounds, which was 28% of their body weight. And the number that I think is really striking is that 65% of people were able to get their BMI below 30, which is below the obesity kind of cutoff. If you compare to Zepbound, on average was 21%, and Wegovy on average 15%.
Wow.
So it's definitely getting to those numbers that starts to approximate bariatric surgery, which is really quite remarkable.
Do we know, is this study just looking at people maybe who were over that obesity number, or like is just, you know, how people who only need to lose 10 pounds are on Ozempic?
No, so these are all these studies always, Savannah, enroll individuals who are either obese or are overweight, but have one other risk factor for cardiac disease. That's how all of these studies usually get done. But just to put a little pin on that, they're also studying this drug in people with, you know, fatty liver disease and kidney disease and knee arthritis. So they're testing it in a lot of different conditions.
What are the side effects that we know about?
So, like all GLPs, the main ones are going to be GI. So we've got nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. Then we have this thing called dysesthesia, which is kind of pretty uncomfortable, like sort of a neurological, sort of painful sensation, some urinary tract infection, upper respiratory tract infections. If you look back at Wegovy, Zepbound, these were also kind of reported, but those are the main ones. And at the highest dose of retatrutide, Savannah, more people did drop out because of side effects than we saw with, let's say, Zepbound.
Interesting. When could this be available?
Lilly will very likely apply for approval this year, and I don't see why it wouldn't be approved. So maybe by year's end. And, you know, Carson on the Today Show this morning goes, do we need another? So they're calling this triple G because it's 3 hormones. He's like, are we going to get a quadruple G?
Right.
And I said, listen, it seems like, do we need to have more? Well, the answer is about 10% of people don't respond to GLP-1s that are currently available. And some people plateau. I have a lot of patients who lost weight and then stopped losing weight. So it might be.
And they need to lose more weight?
And they need to. And yes, and they need to, or they want to. And this one is especially good for people who are really severely obese because it does pack such a punch. So yeah, I think that there's still room in the market for this one. Will we get a quadruple G? Not going to make any predictions, but we'll see.
What about the cost?
To be determined, but 100% will be, you know, competitive and comparable to prices that are on the market. They've got to price themselves competitively.
I think the question just becomes, and a lot of us might feel this way, that we know so many people on these, and sometimes it might feel like maybe somebody who doesn't maybe not need to be, but you just said wants to be. They're not in that obese range. Maybe they want to lose 10, 15, 20 pounds.
Right.
And these drugs just keep becoming available. We keep talking about it. And then later we talk about things like Ozempic personality or Ozempic face and all this stuff, these other side effects. What do you just think as this continues to expand and more drugs hit the market, which therefore means it's going to continue to reach more people?
You know, I think when they first came out, I was also one of those people who very vocally said this isn't for people who need to lose 5 or 10 pounds.
Right.
It's for people who have really like type 2 diabetes and hyperlipidemia. We're talking about all the cardiac risks that go along with obesity. But as the drugs have been on the market, I have seen the medicine do amazing things for people who only lost 10 or 15 pounds, people with my diseases, who have inflammatory disease, who feel significantly better on the medication, inflammation going down. So I think there is going to be a broader application. And yes, there's always side effects to medication. It's always a risk-benefit analysis and conversation. Knock on wood, most of the side effects are reversible when the medication is discontinued.
All right, Dr. Azar, great to see you. Thank you.
You too.
Well, coming up, we are just a few hours away from Stephen Colbert's final Late Show taping. So after the break, we're digging into the mark he made on the American Institution of Late Night and what could come next once he's off the air. That is next on Morning News Now. We are back now with a closer look at what is making news in the world of politics this morning, starting with the Department of Justice alleging a former prosecutor stole confidential files. NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach joins me now for more. Gary, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Good morning. Here's what's happening in politics now. Starting down in Florida, where a former federal prosecutor has been indicted on charges she emailed herself confidential files from special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into President Trump's handling of classified documents. Carmen Lineberger was charged with 4 counts related to stealing and concealing government property. Documents allege over the course of several months, she used file names like chocolate cake recipe and bundt cake recipe to obscure what she was actually downloading and sending to her personal email. If she's convicted, she could face more than 20 years in prison. Now out west, the Colorado Democratic Party voted Wednesday to censure Governor Jared Polis and are suggesting he not speak at any state Democratic Party events in the coming months. This move comes in response to his commutation this week of former Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters, an election denier who had been in the middle of serving a 9-year term in state prison for tampering with voting systems. Polis had justified the commutation, saying the sentence did not match the crime. And here in D.C., ballroom drama continues. Our Capitol Hill team here at NBC News has learned security funding for the ballroom, originally planned as part of a larger ICE and Border Patrol funding bill, has been taken out of that legislation. Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana telling our team the votes aren't there to include the controversial $1 billion for the ballroom in the legislation after President Trump said over and over again the facility would be built without taxpayer dollars. That's what's happening in politics now. Back to you, Savannah.
All right, Gary, thank you so much. Well, today marks the end of an era as The Late Show comes to a close after more than 3 decades on the air. For the past few weeks, host Stephen Colbert has had a star-studded parade of guests who've stopped by to pay their own tributes. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is outside of Colbert's studio here in New York City. She joins us now with more. Chloe, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Savannah. That's right. In just a few hours, it is the end of The Late Show as we know it. And the taping is going to take place at the Ed Sullivan Theater right here behind me. This whole farewell tour, Savannah, has been full of big moments, even bigger laughs as these lights get ready to dim.
After tonight, we have only one more show left. And it is our... But let's have fun now, shall we?
Tonight, Stephen Colbert will take his final bow before the curtain drops for good on The Late Show. Overnight, Bruce Springsteen performing. And a who's who of guests turning the tables for a special Colbert questionnaire.
Apples or oranges?
Well, you can't put peanut butter on an orange.
The latest A-listers filling out an all-star lineup to say goodbye. From former Daily Show pal Jon Stewart.
Stephen, get ready for the ride of your life.
To David Byrne. Fellow late-night hosts.
Is there anything that we have not touched on before we move on to this? I'm curious.
The outrage that your show is being thrown off the air?
Yeah.
And a former president.
A lot of people tell me I should run for president.
Well, you certainly have the look.
Thank you very much.
You have the hair.
While also taking a moment to honor his team.
This staff is so brilliant.
It's the end of an era. the show debuting in 1993 with David Letterman.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the show.
The trailblazing format creating countless water cooler moments in a pre-viral video world. Last week, Letterman joined Colbert to mark the end of the show.
This is my desk chair.
All right, well, say goodbye, my friend.
Colbert's take has been different, filled with more politically charged humor.
Everybody I talk to is talking about what Donald Trump doesn't want to talk about.
So last summer, when CBS announced the end of The Late Show, questions swirled if it had anything to do with the show's critical eye towards President Trump. At the time, CBS called it purely a financial decision. But fans rallying around the beloved host after the news, with hype building ahead of tonight's final farewell, as Stephen Colbert prepares to sign off from an institution that's transformed the late-night landscape.
Savannah, we have no idea what the finale is going to entail. We don't even know who the guests are going to be, but here are some things that we do know. The finale itself has been extended, which means it's going to be more than its typical hour slot. And we also know that the taping is taking place more than an hour earlier today. I just want to throw this out there, Savannah. Stephen Colbert has said that his dream guest, his white whale, would be Pope Leo. You never know, right? You never know what could happen.
I was not expecting you to say that. That would be something, wouldn't it, Chloe? I think we may have some international news clues if he was going to be on the ground, but you never know. All right, Chloe, thank you so much. How fun. All right, well, now for more, let's bring in Brian Steinberg. He is the senior TV editor at Variety. Brian, always great to have you with us, especially on a big one like this. Thanks for being here. Let's start just with this incredible roster of guests for Colbert's final episodes and what it tells us about his standing in the industry as he steps away.
Well, look, we had Steven Spielberg, Jon Stewart, Bruce Springsteen last night. There's no question Colbert is regarded very well in the late night business, and he has, over 20 years really shaken up the genre. First with Comedy Central, the Colbert Report, he played a fictional character for a decade, kind of spoofing conservative talk show host, and now with the current show, he has gone much more hard on politics and news than most of his contemporaries did previously.
What do you think? Any guesses for tonight, Brian?
Great question. I mean, that's a great question. He has tons of friends, tons of supporters. He probably wants to surprise people. It'll be interesting. But I would thought it would save Jon Stewart, Bruce Springsteen for last. So I'm only, it's a great question as to who might show up tonight.
I know. How can you go up from there? In an article published yesterday, you said that Colbert shook up late night television twice. What do you mean by that?
Well, he really has blazed new concepts in late night. Very hard to do. There's a very staid, regular day part. You expect, tricks and stunts and some monologues. But the first thing he did was with a fictional character on Comedy Central, playing kind of a conservative blowhard, but not his real person. It was a character. It wasn't him. And then when he moved to CBS, he really has leaned much harder into news, the headlines, and politics, something Carson would probably not do.
How commercially viable do you think this format is at this point?
It's a great question. Look, people are watching TV and video in different ways. The idea of tuning in at a certain time to watch jokes is not something that a younger generation really understands. They can watch whatever they want to. And in fact, a good chunk of the people who follow these shows are watching clips the morning after via YouTube or X or something else. So the base of people who watch the show, which for his advertisers has been shrinking, and it's hard to get them back, and they're spread out across all kinds of different digital windows. So the economics are much more fragile.
And Brian, that also begs the question, what about just the impact on culture? I remember a period where we all talked about what happened last night in the morning. Does it still feel like that?
We still are talking about late night. We talk about Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air. We talk about Stephen Colbert being pushed off the air by CBS. People are reacting to this stuff. It's not being ignored. People are talking about it. So the shows do have cachet. They do serve as kind of a central gathering ground for humor, processing headlines, making big moments. But I do think, the time of celebrities only going on late night shows is gone. They go on Hot Ones chicken eating show, and they show up on podcasts.
Every podcast, yeah.
That's right. So it's the local their place in the universe It's definitely shifting.
Yeah, it is funny when you see like a movie rollout going on and they are on, new heights with the Kelsey brothers and all these other places rather than just some of those pillar shows that we think of from before. Brian Steinberg, great conversation. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, The Late Show is not the only CBS program making headlines this morning. Get this, during last night's live Survivor 50 finale, the host, you know him, Jeff Probst, he accidentally gave away a big surprise. He revealed the result of this fire-making competition that determines who makes it to the final three. Before that segment aired, he brought out the loser for an interview. The audience gasped, fans bombarded social media with comments. Well, after realizing the mistake, Probst laughed it off, calling it the last twist of the season. I don't know enough about Survivor to know all of that. It just sounds like a pretty funny and wild mistake for the host to be making. All right, coming up, that Memorial Day travel rush is about to kick into high gear. If you're set to jet in the coming days, but worried about if your bags are going to make it to your destination, don't worry. Our own Tom Costello is going to take us behind the scenes of one airliner's massive operation working overtime to ensure your precious cargo arrives safe and sound. Stick with us. Welcome back. Traffic is picking up on the roads and in the skies already for the big Memorial Day getaway and the start of the summer vacation season. Surprisingly, the predictions are for another record-breaking travel season this year, even though we've seen those higher gas prices and those higher airline tickets. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello is at Chicago O'Hare Airport with the latest. Tom, good morning.
Savannah, you may not see me after this live shot because this American Airlines plane right here headed to Jamaica, man. Welcome on board. Listen, we're watching the airports very closely this morning because it was a mess yesterday, right? LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, all up in New York, still in recovery mode today following the mess yesterday. A lot of it had to do with weather and then the sinkhole. But this is the kickoff to the Memorial Day travel season and then the summer. American plans to fly a record 75 million passengers this summer, and it all starts right now. Among the worst places for a sinkhole on this kickoff to Memorial Day.
422 is closed for a sinkhole over there. It's like Route 80.
New York, LaGuardia, runway 4 closed for repairs as the TSA expects to screen some 18.3 million passengers and crew members between today and next Wednesday.
When the people get on the plane, they're on the plane. They want to make sure that their baggage is on the plane.
At Chicago O'Hare, American's John Contreras is one of 65 assigned baggage runners every shift, using a computer program to expedite bags from tail to tail or tail to terminal. With 8 runways, Chicago O'Hare now has the most takeoffs and landings of any airport in the world, with a flight coming or going every 37 seconds. American expects to fly 40,000 flights this extended weekend worldwide, moving 500,000 bags a day. It's on-time bag delivery up 18% with those dedicated bag runners.
I got it scanned, all 35 bags before I leave for all the connecting flights.
It matters to Isabella Idris connecting to New Orleans.
My favorite hairdryer, my Dyson hairdryer is in it, and it's very expensive.
Like most airlines, American is forecasting record-breaking passenger levels this summer, despite inflation and higher fuel prices sending airfares higher.
This is the period that families want to get together for vacations, small trips, whatever. Still strong demand to go internationally.
Regardless of the price?
Regardless of the price. But a lot of people, you have bought tickets because they already planned what they were going to do this summer and they bought the tickets earlier.
Hopper.com reports domestic airfares are averaging $441 round trip, up 53% from a year ago. While on the roads, regular unleaded averaging $456 nationally, up from $317 last year. For airlines, afternoon and evening thunderstorms can throw the best travel plans into disarray.
We notify the customer ahead of time when it's a known weather event, and so they have an opportunity. We can reroute them.
Yeah, now yesterday, as you know, was a real weather day. It was a mess across much of the country. Here's the tip. If you're flying, especially with the family this summer, try to catch the earliest flight possible. Here's an example. This plane has been sitting here all night, ready to go to Jamaica this morning, right? It's not caught up in the delays and cancellations that can build through the summer. Try to book the early morning flight. Savannah?
All right, that's a good tip. Tom, thanks so much. Fascinating look. We've got some money news now. It looks like Target is poised for a big summer sales comeback. NBC News business and economy reporter Emily Lorsch has her Money Minute. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Savannah. While Americans are feeling the pinch as a result of surging gas prices and other higher expenses across the board, it appears that's not stopping them from shopping at Target. The company could be turning a corner as it reported stronger than expected results in the first quarter of this year. The company saying for all of its main merch categories, net sales are up in total by 6.7% in the past year. The company attributing much of that to new offerings. Rival Walmart this morning, meanwhile, continue to pick up business from consumers under pressure from inflation. Now over to the cosmetics aisle. Retailer e.l.f. Beauty saying it saw net sales jump 35%. The chairman and CEO saying e.l.f. is testing lower prices and already has, quote, confidence based on what's been seen so far, saying e.l.f. is a, quote, test and learn brand and will find the right balance. The company experienced growth for the 7th year in a row, despite saying consumers pulled back a bit on purchases, likely a result of its tariff-related higher prices. Meanwhile, for you snackers out there, prices are going up on some Frito-Lay's chips. Parent company PepsiCo says that's just for certain smaller, single-serving snack bags, the ones you'd likely find in a vending machine or small convenience store. This comes after the company announced it was cutting prices on larger packages by nearly 15% earlier this year. A spokesperson tells NBC News, quote, "Our commitment to affordability hasn't changed," and that these bags will still have price tags of $3 and lower. So, Savannah, we're expecting to see increases about 10, 20 cents maybe. But as I just mentioned, consumers are really feeling the pinch right now. So who knows how much of an impact that could actually make.
Definitely. Emily, thank you. It is time now for our ongoing series, We Love It, Women Mean Business. Today's guest turned a personal heartbreak into a multi-million-dollar empire. Karen Rabinovitz co-founded Slumu Institute alongside her best friend Sarah Schiller in New York City back in 2019. Well, it is now the world's #1 immersive slime experience, and it's expanded to nearly a dozen locations across the U.S. Earlier this year, they debuted their very own branded imprint called Slumu Inc., along with their first graphic novel, Slumu Making Friends. And Karen has always had an entrepreneurial streak. She got her very first job as a young teen before getting a double major at Emory University. After college, Karen was one of the pioneers who created the social media influencer market. And then she met Sarah in the early 2000s, and they became fast friends over a shared love of art. In 2017, they were both navigating personal battles with grief when they found joy again by playing with slime. 2 years later, Slumu was born. Check out this infectious energy.
It's time to let loose. Squishes and pops, let's get in the groove. Living it up, yeah. Slumu. Squishing it up, yeah. Slumu. Living it up, yeah. Slumu. Squishing it up, yeah. Slumu.
Okay, come on, tell me you don't want to just jump into that video. Well, now Slumu Institute has a $40 million business sparking joy for people, importantly, of all ages. Karen Rabinovitz is clearly a woman who means business, and I'm so excited she's here in studio with us. Karen, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy you're here. I'm a huge slime fan, and we're actually going to get into these in just a minute. But before we do, I want you to take us back to the moment that this started. I mentioned you're navigating a heartbreak. You are looking for something to help bring you joy, and you land on slime. What was that time like? What was that moment like?
So I had gone through a lot of tragedy. I went through this back-to-back excruciating loss in my life. First, my husband, and then I lost a family member in the Parkland school shooting.
Oh.
And I truly didn't function for a year and a half. And one day, my friend, Melissa, who actually is one of the authors of our book, we've been friends of 30 years, she came by my home with her then 10-year-old. Her daughter just happened to have slime with her. I grew up with slime in the 70s, so I was very curious to sink my hands into what today's slime was.
Right.
It's nothing like the slime I grew up with. And so I said, oh, Maddie, let me see your slime. And I sat on the floor with Maddie, and then my friend Melissa was like, well, we have to go, and I'm confused, like, I don't understand. We just got here. And she said, no, you've been on the floor with my daughter for 4 hours. And that's when it dawned on me that in those 4 hours, I left my pain and I reconnected with joy. So I asked to keep some. I started to buy slime, and I found that using it for my own mental health really gave me these pockets and microdoses of joy. And when I sunk my hands in and played, I was out of pain. So for me, it became a salvation. And I brought it to my friend Sarah, who was going through a lot of grief and I was going to call it tragedy, grief and tragedy in her personal life. And not only did she find the same joy, but her lightning bolt was seeing her two daughters come together as equals, because her oldest daughter has a rare genetic syndrome. And while she is extraordinarily happy, she has a lot of limitations, and she's nonverbal, and she can't do anything on her own. So to see her older daughter play equally with her younger daughter was something she had never seen before. So Sarah's crying, and I just said, we have to bring this to people.
We have to do it. Okay, tell me
Let's
as
get
we
in.
chat, because the thing that I think is so important about what you just said, obviously, is like, this is for adults
It's
too.
for adults,
and it has
too.
a mental health impact in a positive way. So, as adults, we're going to play with slime.
We're going to play with slime.
What do we do?
I want you to open that.
I mean, look at this.
Bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel.
I mean,
Just
I can't even
twist.
look at. Okay, twist. I could have taken all day.
And then
look at this.
That is clay, and you're gonna now take that red slime underneath it. I'm gonna take out my own. First, smell it. It smells like bread.
That is crazy.
Right? And you're gonna smush in the bagel.
Into it, or to take it out?
Either or.
Okay.
Put the bagel on top.
I wish I could feel this. Oh my God. Oopsies, I just messed up
Just
the bagel.
smush it right in. And you're gonna then like mix it. See, look at how you're smiling.
I know. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Like take
I
a piece
can't get
out.
over the smell.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I could do this all day. Tell me you're not at home right now wishing you had this slime.
And here's the great thing. A lot of parents don't love it at home. Don't worry about, can I get in there?
Yes. Dying. Oh my gosh.
Look,
But I see
right
it
off,
easy.
right
And
off.
It really does come right off. It's
Right
not,
off.
So like it's not gonna like stick to your couch or something.
No. So, okay.
Wow.
Here's the other thing.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Give me this.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me this. Let me help you out here.
Most unhinged.
When you don't know what you're doing,
ever.
this is called activator.
Okay.
I call this the anti-aging serum for slime.
Okay. Love that.
This will make slime not sticky.
Wow. Oh,
And
yeah.
keep squeezing and playing with it. And use. I'm a klutz. Use the slime to take off the slime on your hands.
Oh my
If you go like
gosh.
this,
Look at, you're a slime pro.
it'll come right off. And so if adults are watching and your
Yes.
kids get it on your sofa, the car,
off.
the dog, white vinegar and
Look at
water.
how my everything bagel has just totally mushed into my slime.
Right?
Okay, so I am immediately feeling the joy. I mean, I think that is evident. Tell me, though, what is so interesting to me about this, too, is like being in the business of slime. That's very specific. And I imagine not the easiest thing to get off the ground. So for anybody listening, we love to ask in this segment what advice you have for women who might have an idea, maybe even one that seems a little out there, to get going.
My biggest piece of advice is you just have to do it. And don't stress over perfectionism, because perfectionism leads to paralysis and procrastination.
And then we wouldn't
So
have
you
this slime.
just have to jump. Think about the baby chick being pushed out of the nest. It always flies, and if it doesn't, and it breaks its little leg, it's going to heal and fly again. So when we did this, we didn't honestly know what we were doing. We created literally the world's first industrial handmade slime kitchen.
I mean, I don't even know what those words
With
mean.
a full city block worth of glue. We have 3,000 ingredients that we keep in our basement or slash our kitchen in
No, and
New
I know
York
you can
City.
make like 4 million combos out
Over
of
4 million combinations.
Karen, thank you for coming. Thank you for literally sharing joy with me. I love it so much.
It's gorgeous, right?
I'm keeping all the slime.
And look,
thank you.
not sticky.
No, it's not at all.
Yes.
Karen, thank you so much, and congrats on your success.
Thank you
Morning
for
to Sunday.
having us.
We'll be right back. All right, I'm still got the slime, just to be clear about that before we start this segment. Finally, this hour, summer blockbuster season unofficially gets underway this weekend, and it's expected to be a strong year for Hollywood. So far, movie theater attendance is up 14% in 2026. It's awesome. And both Spider-Man Brand New Day and Toy Story 5 are projected to clear the $1 billion mark. Well, joining us to talk about some of these biggest upcoming films this season is Access Hollywood correspondent, our friend Emily Orozco. Emily, good morning.
Hello.
Great to see you. Love that we're talking about summer movies and those huge numbers. It's so exciting. We got to start with something new for Star Wars fans.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it has been 7 years since our last Star Wars movie, so fans are freaking out. We have Pedro Pascal and Grogu is finally getting his big screen debut.
Oh, he's so cute. I can't.
It's so cute. This is a romp across the galaxy. It's so fun to watch. It's something you can bring the kids to and enjoy as a family this weekend.
Okay, it's like don't you just want one?
No, is he so cute or
Look
what?
at him.
I'm obsessed
It's
with
so
him.
cute. Oh
At the premiere, he walked the carpet, best dress.
Oh my God, sure, no question. Okay, we've got a new one from Steven Spielberg. Huge deal.
Okay, this is a huge deal because we know Spielberg. He loves extraterrestrial life, right? With E.T. So this is his return to sci-fi. It is a thriller. It's starring Josh O'Connor. Yeah. Emily Blunt. So she plays a meteorologist, and it's all about a 2017 report that came out in the New York Times that piqued curiosity for people about the Pentagon and their UFO mission. So he's kind of uncovering what is really going on in outer space in this movie. So, like, my husband's totally into this. He watches all the conspiracy theories. So this is for the people in your life that are, like, always wondering what's beyond Earth, right?
Oh, that sounds fun. Okay, let's talk about kids' movies. There are so many of them. Okay, Toy Story 5, right?
5.
Are we on 5?
Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
But it's so nostalgic, isn't it? Like,
Yes,
it brings me
totally.
right back to being a
know.
kid. Woody, Buzz, Tom Hanks' voice. You know, it's just like everything, I don't know. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. But anyway, this is a big deal because AI has been introduced.
Yes, okay.
Their owner, Bonnie, is 8 years old, and she has a little AI iPad that's taking her attention away from her old-fashioned toys.
That's a
which
hilarious
we're seeing in
plot.
modern day right now with children.
Oh my God.
So, you know, we see how this unfolds with Bonnie, and if Woody and Buzz can capture her attention back again. And Woody is balding in Toy Story 5. So it's... Yes, time has taken its toll.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, also 2 quick other kid ones.
Oh,
Moana,
yes, of course.
Minions
Moana
and Monsters.
and Minions and Monsters. So Moana is a live action reimagining. We, of course, have Dwayne Johnson back. Moana, we have a new actress, Catherine Legai. So excited to see her. She's new in her career. And then Minions and Monsters. Okay, they're headed to the 1920s. It's so cute. There's all these 1920s references. So for the parents, you'll enjoy that. You'll catch that. It's not just for the kids.
Okay,
Really.
also, Tom Holland is in 2 of the huge, buzzy movies. Okay, so there's Chris Nolan's version of The Odyssey. I mean, hello. We've all obviously been waiting for any Chris Nolan movie. And then also he's in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Unbelievable. Tom has had a busy,
no kidding.
Shooting schedule along with Zendaya. You know, they are a couple, so they're shooting together. You know, Tom joked, I thought it was so cute, that they share a hotel room, so the studios save a little bit on the budget. But Spider-Man Brand New Day, this is going to be a big budget film. It is, as you said, it could pass the $1 billion mark, which is unbelievable.
crazy.
It's been 5 years since we got a Spider-Man movie. Peter Parker is back, and, you know, of course, MJ, played by Zendaya, so we're getting the romance back. We'll see what happens.
Emily Orozco, thank you so much.
Thank you.
To watch this summer. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.